Hello, I'm Erik with Geodata Plus. This is Hands on the Market. Today, we're going to be talking about property valuations. So who better than to share this table with than a skilled and experienced appraiser? I have with me Vinnie Tamburello of Tamburello Appraisals. Welcome, Vinnie.
Thanks for having me, Erik.
You're welcome. So tell me about yourself, Vinnie.
Well, I've been an appraiser for over 21 years and have conducted residential and commercial appraisals in Long Island and New York City. I'm also associated with the Appraisal Institute and I'm an SRA member.
So what's an SRA member?
An SRA member is a certain level of education and experience held by a residential appraiser and recognized by the Appraisal Institute.
Another little fact about Vinnie that he probably doesn't realize, but this month is Vinnie's 10-year anniversary as a Geodata customer. Over those 10 years, he's given us some really valuable feedback on Geodata, which has helped us make a better program so that our customers can perform better property valuations. Vinnie, here's an interesting statistic that you probably aren't going to be too shocked by, actually. According to the National Association of Realtors, each month, 1 out of every 10 real estate agents report that one of their transactions was derailed by an appraisal. So, Vinnie, why are you appraisers killing these deals?
Well, actually, I think that's a pretty good statistic. 9 out of 10 deals have the right value on them.
That's a good point.
And as for 1 out of 10, appraisers are preventing the home buyers from making a bad decision.
All right, I see that.
Yeah.
And that leads us into what we want to go over today. Whether you're an investor, a real estate agent, a home buyer, or even another appraiser, we wanted to put together a quick primer on how to better perform a property valuation. So, Vinnie, when you want to determine the value of a property, where do you begin?
Well, Erik, when I perform a residential appraisal, it's my job to try to find the most similar, comparable sales to the subject property.
Okay, so talk to me then like you've never done this before. If I'm looking at my house, and I want to find sales comparables that are similar to my house, or comps,
yes.
How do I determine what makes a good comp?
Well, when a residential appraisal is performed, there are certain considerations to make when determining the best comparables. And the main points are location, date of sale, and other property attributes.
Okay, tell me about those.
For location, there are various factors, but the most important is distance. You want to find comparables that are close to the subject as possible.
Okay, but when you say close as possible, how far out do you want to go, or how far out can you go? A mile, half mile, less?
Well, that really depends on the market. For example, in densely populated areas like Brooklyn or Queens, you can probably find sales within a half a mile or even within a few blocks.
So I guess then you're not finding comps in a 5-block radius in East Hampton then?
No, you're not. As far as the date of sale, you normally want to find properties that have sold within 6 months or less, but there are times you need to go further back. For property attributes, you want to find properties as similar as possible, in square footage, lot size, and property, to name a few.
Okay, and Vinnie, there are other factors to consider when whether or not to use a comp. For example, I live within a quarter mile of a major road, and I know properties that are across that major road are substantially different than my home, but they're really close. They're actually less than a half mile away. So can I use them? Are they good comps?
No, you just said that they're substantially different. So just because they're close doesn't mean you should use them. The property attributes are very different from yours in the area.
Okay. And what if a property sold as a result of a foreclosure? Can I use that as a comp?
No, because foreclosures are not sales that are arm's length transactions, so they don't really reflect the market.
What's an arm's length transaction?
An arm's length transaction is a transaction between two parties that are not under any duress and undue influence.
Okay, so example, if you and I were family members and I wanted to sell you my house for a discount, that's not an arm's length transaction?
Exactly.
All right, so then going back and defining comparables, how does Geodata help you find good comparables?
Well, as I said before, as an appraiser, I consider factors such as location, date of sale, and property attributes. Geodata makes it real easy for me to search by that. For example, I can easily find properties that have sold within a half a mile from the subject within the last 6 months that are also single-family homes in the same school district. If I need to search other criteria, I can do that. And I can even see the comparables on the map after I search.
Any final advice that our audience should hear when trying to determine property value?
Well, nothing new, just to make sure that you're choosing the comparables as similar as possible to the subject.
And what if someone's having trouble doing that?
Then call an appraiser. A qualified appraiser is going to have a high degree of knowledge of their market and can determine an accurate opinion of value.
And that appraiser's probably using geodata too.
If they're appraising in New York and New Jersey, they should be.
Okay. All right, Vinnie, thanks again for joining us today in Hands in the Market. And thank you for being a Geodata customer for 10 years. I'm Erik Wind with Hands in the Market, sponsored by Geodata Plus. Thank you for watching.
This is Mortgage News Network.